Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, especially if you own a KTM 390 Adventure or you're thinking about buying a KTM 390 Adventure because of the content that I've got on my channel that you may find useful. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about one of the ergonomic problems of this bike, which is its foot pegs. If you didn't know this, the foot pegs tilt a little bit forward, which makes it a bit challenging riding off-road to have a stable platform. And what I have found when I ride off-road is if I'm trying to lean back and stay up and keep my feet level, I tend to be on more of an edge on these foot pegs. And if I try to get a flat surface, my boot making full contact with the foot peg, it pushes my knees and hips forward, which can be a problem depending on the terrain. I don't feel like I have as much control over the bike from the inputs that I'm putting in from the foot pegs. So there is a solution for that, and that is the Black Dog Cycleworks foot peg. Now, before I get too far into this, I want to let you know that I am not sponsored by Black Dog Cycleworks. I paid for these myself, but because it fixes an issue with these pegs, I'm letting you know about it so that if you do a lot of off-road riding, you can add this to your bike to get that control back that you would want from a level platform and from, frankly, a big foot peg. So stick around and I'll talk about the foot pegs that we have here, the kit to do the install, which is really simple. I think Black Dog did a good job putting this kit together. I've put foot pegs on other bikes that didn't have some of the tools and tricks in here, and they've been a real pain, but with what Black Dog provided, it was really, really simple. All right, before we get too far into this, let's just talk about the foot peg that Black Dog Cycleworks has made. Now, the first thing to know about it is size-wise. I have the peg from the other side compared to Black Dog. So you can see the size difference, if I can get my fingers out of the way. You can see the size difference between the new peg and the old peg. Now, the other thing that Black Dog did is they lowered the peg surface, the mating surface, your boot surface, half an inch. Which what that's going to do is it's going to give you a little bit more cockpit space. So when you stand up, it's like having a half-inch bar riser, but it's lowering you. The other thing that they've done, of course, is the most important thing is they've leveled the peg out. So now you have this entire surface to stand on. Now, in addition to that, in the kit that you're going to get, you're going to have some threaded lugs or spikes that you can put in this if you want a little bit more traction. You know, something that's really going to grip your boot. Feeling this and looking at how the foot peg is designed, I'm going to run it the way it is right now. I don't think I need any extra pins in here, any extra spikes in this to gain any extra traction. But if that's something you want to do, you can certainly do that. In the kit, they give you some Loctite, so if you do want to add some extra spikes, some extra traction, maybe adjust the height of the grip that you're getting, then you can lock those into place, but I'm not going to use those. Now, the other thing they give you is a new Cotter Key, which is really good because the one that you take out is going to be all bent up, and it's better to put a new one in. So you have that, and then a Allen wrench to put the new spikes in if you want to put those in, and more importantly is this installation pin. Now, I haven't had an installation pin like this before with other pegs, and to get the peg and the spring centered in there and mashed in and then be able to push the pin can be a real pain in the butt. But I can tell you that having this pin and being able to center the spring in the peg, it makes it a lot easier. And basically you just reuse the pin that's in here. So when you go to do the install, you just put the spring and the pin in place that holds the spring where it needs to go, push it in there, line it up, and then take your original pin and just slide it through. It's that simple. The other side, I think it took me all of 5 minutes. So we'll do that real quick just in case you're wanting to see how to do it yourself, if this is something you're interested in. Yeah, so let's get to it. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is pull the Cotter Key out, cotter pin. Get my pliers on this and straighten it out. Ooh. All right, there is a little rubber a grommet that goes between the washer and the cotter key. So I'm gonna put that back in, and then we just slide that pin forward. And since this is spring loaded, grab it with your hand so it doesn't go flying away. And we'll take that spring out. Now, I gotta be honest, I didn't really look at the directions like I should have. I'm putting the long end of the spring against the wall here. And then we just have to set the spring in, put the starter pin in. When you get that in, then you're gonna slide that and get the spring to where it's meeting up. And then you may have to look and see where you're at, lining it up. And then once that gets lined up, I have the centering pin. It's about halfway out. I've got this started, and this just follows the pin through, keep some pressure on it, push it through, and that's it. That is how simple that is. I have spent up to an hour getting pegs put on other bikes because I didn't have that pin. And then we just take our new key, put it in there. Take some pliers if I can get on that, and just bend that around the pin just to keep it from coming out. And done. So that's all it took. Peg is in place and we're ready to go. I'm out here goofing off, just trying to get a feel for the new foot pegs, and I will say right from the beginning, I could tell that I have better leverage on the bike. Just the foot pegs are wider. It's a level platform as opposed to being tilted forward. And if I wanted to have level feet, it wasn't there. That had a little bit different feel. This feels a lot more stable, more comfortable, and wished I would have done this months ago, probably right after I got the bike, to fix that canted forward feel. Now I will say that the brake lever and the shift lever, the positioning of those, because the foot peg drops down a little bit, I find it a little bit easier standing up to reach those. I'm going to use it for a while the way it is. So far I find that it's fine. When I'm standing up, it's easy to shift and it's really easy to find the brakes. So that is really not a problem for me. I'll see if maybe down the road I want to make a minor adjustment, but I've got to try it to see. Now I will say these foot pegs with more of a slick bottom that I have on these boots, it doesn't have quite the grip, so I'll probably end up putting those spikes in, but with an adventure boot that has the big lugs in it, I think it'll fit just fine and really grip into the peg. One of the things I didn't talk about was the machining of the foot pegs. They look absolutely brilliant. For an aluminum foot peg, it is made really, really well. Now, if this is something you're considering, I think the price on these is around $220. And if you're not familiar with what foot pegs cost, a quality foot peg starts around the $200 mark. So don't let that put you off, because if you look at foot pegs for other bikes, you're going to be spending that much, if not more, to get a good quality foot peg, which I definitely think these are. So if foot pegs are something you're interested in on this bike, I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Get out and do some riding, and I will see you out there. Those. Not liking what I have to say.